In typical naval fashion, the Kriegsmarine indicated officers' ranks by gold braid on their sleeves, and this wide band with 4 narrower bands above and a single gold star was the insignia for a Grand Admiral in the German Navy. Flip over, we do have a low resolution picture of a battleship if you want to use that as a backdrop. And then we've got an image of the figure inside. So here is our guy. It's a very good likeness of Karl Donitz. Now, my immediate thought when I saw this was incorrect to have the belt on the service jacket like this. I've never seen a naval, the blue naval uniform like this. But I did find some uniform regulations for the Kriegsmarine, and this actually, on certain occasions, they did wear this, the dress belt. And I did find one picture of 2 junior officers dressed like this. But it looks odd to me, so I won't be doing that. The other thing I'll say about the belt is this is the belt that came with Raider. And you can see it's different, the pattern on it. And based on illustrations and photographs, this looks more accurate. The other thing I'll say is the detailing on the buckle is actually the same, but you could just make it out better on this darker buckle. And there is a submarine badge there on him. Here you can see that insignia. These gloves are not fitting on him very well. I'll probably end up taking those off. So we have a wristwatch and his neck award. Some badges. And then here is the badges and so forth for his uniform and his hat. And then this is something that goes, this figure is rare in that it came with a stand, and this can go on the stand. So here is his hat, minus the insignia. He also came with a side cap. I've never seen an image of him, a photo of him wearing one of these. So, for what it's worth. He comes with a pair of binoculars. Here is his ceremonial dagger. I'll turn it upside down so that this knot is hanging down below. So here is a shortened version of the Grand Admiral's baton. It extends like that. That's a little bit loose. I wasn't aware he had this, but I did go back and look at some historic photos, and you could see him holding this. I guess this is the naval version of the interim baton that the Army and the Air Force used. So then we got a bunch of hands, extra hands, and then here is his greatcoat with the bright blue lining. He's got his Grand Admiral's epaulets on it. This does have the real buttons, so you have the pleasure of buttoning them. And then here is his Grand Admiral's baton. It's not as elaborate as Rader's baton. In fact, it more closely resembles that of the Army and the Air Force, with the addition that they've added anchors to it. There is a video on YouTube about his baton. So this, I know this is accurate except for one thing. On this end, they've got the submarine badge, and on the other end is the swastika, unfortunately. The one thing they've got wrong is this should be on the bottom and this should be on the top. So they've got those backwards, and the unfortunate consequence is that if you have him holding this correctly, that's going to be displayed. So, but can't be helped, I guess. So let's put him together and see how he looks. So here's the figure in the greatcoat carrying his Grand Admiral's baton. This is the figure I needed to complete my Kriegsmarine collection. Very happy with it and how it came out. This greatcoat did have a nice surprise. If I can show you. There are a couple of little metal hooks that the dagger is hung from. We haven't seen that in other figures, so that was a nice addition. The other thing that surprised me was I was able to get the gloved hand to grab a hold of his baton. I usually have a hard time with these gloved hands getting them to do anything. So that was a nice surprise. In fact, I ended up buying an extra set of these gloves to use on another figure. So anyway, there is Grand Admiral Donitz in his greatcoat, which I am very happy with. So here is Donitz in his service uniform and holding that smaller version of his baton. And this figure, or this variation, I am not happy with. I don't like it at all. And what I don't like about it is the gold braid on his sleeves. If you look at the Raider figure, you know, they used yellow ribbon. And here they used a metallic gold ribbon. And in my opinion, it doesn't look as nice as this. Each individual ribbon is not as well defined as it is on here. The edges look ragged. The star is not very well defined. And the other thing, I think it looks odd to have one figure with the gold braid that looks like this and another one that looks like that. So I'm not very happy with this. I did go back and look at their photographs for this figure when it was first announced, and wondered if I made a mistake, but I didn't. They did show this figure with this detailing. So I'm not happy with this, and I just know I'm not gonna like looking at it in the collection like that. So I'll have to figure out something else to do with them. Well, since I couldn't use the service jacket, I ended up with both figures wearing the greatcoat, and so they wouldn't look too redundant, I tried to go with two separate looks. So as you can see on the right, he's got his small side cap, the dagger, and his smaller baton, and the bare hands. And then on the left here, he's got his full baton, the gloves, his peak cap, and then I added the ceremonial belt, although I swapped out the cloth parts with the belt from Admiral Raider. They just did a better job with the weave on it, but I kept the shiny buckle to match the buttons on the greatcoat. The other thing I added was the sword from the Admiral Raider figure. I found somebody in China who was selling one on eBay, so I was fortunate to get that. So hopefully they don't look too redundant. Get a better look at the sword. But there you have it. I was missing a naval figure of the greatcoat. Now I've got two. So pretty happy about that. So hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for stopping by.